Hello and welcome back to Building the Battle of Endor in LEGO, guys. My name is Jeremy. Welcome to Saberwork Studios. I'm taking this MOC as well as 3 Pirates of the Caribbean ships to Brooklyn, Chicago 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed that opening time lapse too of building the landing pad. As you guys can see, this is what it looked like before. There's not a lot of details on it. A lot of the main structural work that my brother Joseph did is primarily what you're seeing on this. Of course, we're going to be changing this design a lot. Originally, we actually went with base plates attached to kind of a Technic frame. That was to kind of cut back on the price of actually buying plates, and here's a little sneak peek of what that will look like when it's finished. My brother Joseph did make it completely modularized. That is going to help us so much during the transportation phase of this. There's a cool bird's eye view of that. There's so many details to show you, like these scaffolding designs that we made, some of these railings, a lot of the other snot attachments that my brother Joseph made. Did that as well. We also used a lot of different tile parts and different wedge plates to give a lot more detail to the actual build. Here's a look at the actual landing pad all together with a shuttle on top of it. Of course, this can be changing throughout, just like these handrails that I designed with kind of a weird robot arm, some other Technic pins, some other common parts like a missile and stuff like that. That was pretty fun. Of course, the actual height of the pad is around 2 feet and a half, which is pretty crazy to think about, but we just think that the improvements this week so far have been absolutely ginormous. But like I mentioned, guys, this is modular, so we're going to show you guys how this all kind of comes apart. But before we do that, guys, here's the parts that we used to do this. I ordered 50 of these giant 6x6 gray tiles from lego.com, as well as some other yellow parts that we've gotten in from pab cups and stuff like that. We kind of like that darker yellow tone. And here's a better look at the top two, guys, before we make the improvements. As you guys can see, the base plates are there. At the bottom of the actual frame, before the kind of improvements this week, and the system that's below it, as you guys can see, it kind of just sits there, and there's not really any locking mechanisms. This was, of course, a great challenge for my brother Joseph to design, because I wanted to use base plates instead, but we decided to switch it up and use actual 16x16 dark gray plate and then put tile and other details on top of that. Not only did that add so much weight and structural support to this build, but I just think it looks more aesthetically pleasing from the bottom. My brother Joseph also completely changed the entire Technic frame underneath it. I kind of threw this curveball at him this week. Again, here's another after shot, or before shot I should say, and then after of the top area. Now there's a lot more small details that we have to keep working on the rest of this week, like building these lights. But like I mentioned before, guys, this is a modular thing, so here's it coming together. This next section is massive. It's about, I believe, a couple hundred parts by itself. Here's a look at those 2 side supports, all complete. And then here's the placing of the pad. It is a very, very tight fit because it is supported by some Technic pins that you're going to be seeing later. But this is a massive structure, guys. These are 2 base plates by themselves on top of that, as well as some other snot work attached to the side. But we decided to use this kind of like safety pin mechanism. This will pretty much ensure that this pad will not fall off. It will rock a little bit because it's not an exact attachment, because that would put way too much stress on the actual thing. So when we place the actual shuttle on this, as you guys can tell, nothing's moving, everything's supported and all that. And I mean, how does that look to you guys? I don't know. We added a lot of other small details too, like some of these smaller light things. We also improved the crane design a little bit. We're also going to be changing the terrain in the next episode around that. But yeah, there's an AT-AT next to it. That's the 2021 one and the 2014 one, I believe. We're not entirely sure if we're going to be keeping both AT-ATs in the MOC. We think it might just overcrowd it a little bit. If we do pick one, we'll probably pick the 2021 because I think it better represents the scale of this MOC. And here's a look at that kind of bottom section below the pad. We kind of want that to be like a landing zone / cargo pad for it, but there's still a lot of work to do left on this MOC, guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned for future episodes, of course. But here's some of the final touches that we made to it. We tiled off a lot of things with some smooth butch plates, added some other detail parts. Our brother Joseph completely reworked the snot work design on the top of the pad and the actual bottom of the pad to better match our modern version of it. We also use those little like cone pieces as like handrails and stuff, but I mean, seeing an AT-AT next to this MOC is actually pretty awesome. Here are the last few images and videos of the top of the pad designs. We add a lot, we built those light features and placed some more minifigures. So I hope you guys enjoyed these last few videos and images. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.